Good morning, students. So today we are continuing our online sessions of operating systems. We are continuing the topic of memory management, and we are taking up the one of the important topic, that is paging. So just before getting into the concept of paging, we shall just revise the concept that we had discussed in the previous session. So what was the topic discussed in the previous session? I think it is memory allocation, continuous memory allocation, dynamic memory allocation strategies. That is first fit, best fit, worst fit. And what are the problems of continuous memory allocation? What are the drawbacks of that? The drawbacks were fragmentation problem, that is internal fragmentation and external fragmentation. What do you mean by continuous memory allocation? The process needs the physical address in the main memory to be continuous. That is one of the main requirement of all the process. If it is allocated, if it is loaded into the main memory, if it is allocated some space, all this space, all the memory that it is allocated must be continuous. Okay, so that is called as continuous memory allocation, continuous memory allocation, and that was the drawback of that. Now for example, I'll be taking the diagram of the previous session to discuss. So suppose this is the space and this is the diagram. With this diagram we shall just discuss an example. Consider this is the snapshot of the system as of particular time, and there is one more process that is needed to be allocated some memory that must have to be loaded into the main memory. So the size of the process is 50 KB. Okay, so can I allocate the memory for that process? Can I allocate a memory for that process 50 KB? Keeping in mind that the process must be allocated the memory continuously. That is called as continuous memory allocation. Can I allocate? Can I satisfy? By the diagram, I am not having any space that is having continuously 50 KB free. First fragment is 40 KB, next fragment is free, that is 10 KB, next is 5. If I add up all that, it is more than 50 KB, but it is not continuous, and hence it is called as fragmentation problem. In particular, it is external fragmentation problem. Okay, so this is the main drawback of continuous memory allocation. Just to overcome this type of fragmentation problems or drawbacks, we are having a new memory allocation strategy or a topic called as paging. That is a technique wherein which the physical address space of a process can be non-contiguous. There is no such restrictions. If I allocate memory, it must have to be continuous. No such restrictions. Wherever the space is there, wherever the memory is freely available, I can utilize that space and I can allocate that space for the process. I can split the process space. I can split the address. I can split the memory allocated for the particular process. Wherever the memory is there, I can utilize it. It need not be only continuous. So this is the advantage of paging. So as one line statement is there, paging is a memory allocation technique where the physical address space of a process can be non-contiguous. With the help of a diagram, we shall try to understand this beautiful concept. Okay, before proceeding this, I just remembered a simple concept that you already know related to data structures. So in data structures, we are having the concept of arrays. So array is nothing but a collection of elements of similar data type stored in contiguous memory allocation. Continuously it will be stored. If you are having an array of 100 integer elements, considering each and every integer elements occupies 2 bytes. Okay, so if I create an array of 100 integer elements, so I need 200 bytes that must be contiguous. If I am having 190 bytes, no. If I'm having 150 here, 150 there, 100 here, 50 there, altogether it may be more than 500. But if I am not having continuously 200 bytes anywhere, I will not be able to allocate the memory for that array. Contrastly, okay, now recall the concept of linked list. For linked list, each and every node, okay, can utilize the space for only one element, for only one integer element. And for example, for one node, if it requires 4 bytes, the 4 bytes can be here at memory location address. Next 4 bytes can be at the memory location 500. Next 4 bytes can be at memory location 300. So anywhere in the entire memory, if wherever I get the space available, I can go on allocating the memory for each and every node, one node, one node, one node, like that. It need not be continuous. It need not be continuous, so that the memory utilization will be very effective in linked list rather than in arrays. That's why it is non-contiguous. Similarly, we can relate to this concept: contiguous memory allocation, non-contiguous memory allocation. In non-contiguous memory allocation, we are having the term called paging. See, for imagination purpose, here it is secondary storage. That is nothing but disk. We are having a various processes like P1, P2, P3 are there in secondary disks. Okay, so the sizes of the all the processes will be varying. All the processes will not be having same size, same length, like that. Okay, so here keep in mind the processes will be divided into various pages. The processes in the secondary storage will be divided into equal parts. It will be divided into equal parts. Those equal parts that you are seeing here, that you are seeing page 1, page 2, page 3, these are called as various pages of a process. If the process is small, the pages will be less. If the process is very large, the number of pages will be high. But all the pages will be having equal length, okay, equal size, same size. And that is regarding to secondary storage and the processes will be divided into equal size partitions called as pages. These are all the processes. For example, if I am having process of 1000 lines, okay, up to 1000 kb, for example, to be discussed, the pages can be 200 kb, 200 kb, 200 kb, 200 kb, is like that. So just for example, I am saying it need not be standard like that. Okay, so it will be divided into equal parts. Various pages will be there in a particular process P1, P2, P3, like that. This is physical memory, nothing but main memory, RAM. Okay, physical memory, because before executing the process, it must have to be loaded into the main memory, nothing but physical memory, where it will be getting the address physically. Okay, here the physical memory will be divided into various frames: frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4 till frame n. And one more important point to be noted is the size of the frame will be same as the size of the page. Okay, the size of the pages of P1 are equal to the size of the pages of P2. Same. Here also, if the size of one page is 200 KB, here also the size of one page is 200 KB, here also size of page is 200 KB, and the size of all the frames will be equal to 200 KB. Okay, the size of the frame is equal to the size of the page. I repeat, the processes will be divided into equal parts of similar size called as pages. This is called as logical memory. Logical memory. Here, the physical memory in the other side will be divided into various partitions of same size, equal size. These are called as frames. And the size of a frame is equal to the size of the page. I hope I have repeated and the concept is clear now. Now, as I already told, paging facilitates the physical address space of a process can be non-contiguous. We shall extend this diagram. We shall go to the next slide. See here. So if I want to allocate memory for this particular process, now not the entire process need not be loaded into the main memory. Sometimes will be executing only the instructions present in one particular area. That is, for example, our instructions are in page 2, or our data is in page 3, our data is in page 1. Only the required parts of the process will be loaded into the main memory, and whether it can be partially loaded or fully loaded, one thing to be remembered is the address space of a process can be non-contiguous. Means if I get a space in frame 1, see here, this is frame 1, this will be having page, this will be including page of a process, because the size of a frame is equal to size of a page. So one frame can accommodate one page exactly. One frame can accommodate one page exactly. But frame 1, page 1, frame 2, page 2, frame 3, page 3, not like that. It cannot be continuous. It is not having any such restrictions. If there is a free frame here, I will load page 2. If there is a free frame here, I will load page 2 of another process. If there is a free frame, I will load page 5. So whenever there is a free frames available, wherever there is a free memory available, I will utilize that frames. I will utilize that memory and allocate the pages of various process accordingly. So for example, this is page 2. I have given in the color code so that you can understand, you can visualize the concept more easily. Okay, so this is page 2 of which process? This is page 2 of process 1. Again, this is page 2 because all the processes will be divided into pages. Hence, there will be page 1 in all the process, there will be page 2 in all the process, there will be page 3 in all the process, like that, depending upon the size of the processes. So if there is a page 2 here, this is the page 2 of process 1. Again, I have loaded the page 2, but this page 2 is of process P2. This is page 5 of P2. This is page 1 of P1. So the frames will be holding the pages, but it will not be continuous manner. It will be randomly scattered over the physical memory. So n number of frames will be there. I have just described or represented using some dotted lines. Okay, so the pages of the processes will be loaded into the physical memory so that it will be getting the physical address, which can be non-contiguous. Then, having this understood, we must have to next think. So if there is a page 1 here, if there is a page 2, for example, of a particular process P2, if I have to consider, there is a page 2 here, there is a page 5 here, there is a page 3 in the end. So how can I remember, how can I get to know where is page 1, where is page 2, where is page 3, where is page 4, whether the page 5 is there or not, already loaded or still in the secondary storage? So which page is already in the frame, which page is already in the physical memory, so which page is not yet loaded into the physical memory? So how can I come to know? Because it is not contiguous. In contiguous memory location, we can directly come to know if the process is there, the complete process is there. If the process is not there, the complete process will not be available at all. But here it will not be like that. It can be partially loaded, and the loaded process can take up the various frames in the diverse memory locations. It will not be continuous. So I must have to have an extra facility to keep track which page is in which frame. This is, for example, frame 0, frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, like that. If I enumerate these frames, frame 1 contains page 2 of particular process P2, frame 2 contains page 5. It cannot be continuous, as I told. So I need to some tracking mechanism, some index need to be there, because we'll be having some index in each of our textbook, right? If I want to directly go to page, just for example, chapter deadlocks or memory management, chapter 7, chapter 8, if I know the index, I can directly go to that in which page it is. In the similar way, okay, I'll be extending this concept. I will be moving further. I repeat, the physical address space of a process can be non-contiguous. I have already discussed that. Then the process is allocated physical memory wherever the memory is available. By this, we can avoid the external fragmentation and avoid the problem of various sized memory chunks. As we had discussed, the contiguous memory can be allocated. The process will be varying in size. Okay, one partition will be small, one partition will be very large. So if the process with very large size completed the execution and vacate the memory, the space will be very large. If I allocate the same partition for that particular process, much of the space will be wasted internally. That is regarding internal fragmentation they are speaking. Okay, so in paging, as we already discussed, what is happening, we divide the physical memory into fixed sized blocks called frames. We must have to highlight this very important point, which we already discussed through the diagram, that we divide the physical memory into fixed size blocks called as frames, and we divide the logical memory into the blocks of same size. Same size means same size as that of frames. We divide the logical memory into the blocks of same size called as pages. If it is logical memory, it is called as page, and it will be equal to the size of frames. Next, keep track of all free frames. We must have to keep track of the frames which are free, which is allocated, which is busy, like that, so that if any process needs to be allocated memory, I can say whether the frame is free or not. I must have to discuss such mechanisms. I must have to get some mechanisms. So in paging, it will be discussed further. So to run a program of size n, we need to find n free frames, correct, and load the program. If I want to load the complete program and that program is of n pages, how many frames I need? N free frames. If there is 10 page, if I want to load all the complete program, I need to find 10 free frames. Next, set up a page table. As I told, we discussed regarding the index, right? So this page table acts as the index. Set up a page table to translate logical to physical address. We shall visualize this. We shall try to understand this concept with more detail in the upcoming topics. Next slides. Okay. Set up a page table to translate logical to physical addresses. Next, the backing store likewise will be split it into pages and still have internal fragmentation. Why internal fragmentation still exists, we shall discuss with some examples. But external fragmentation, up to maximum extent, it can be overcome. Proceeding. See here, this is next topic to be understood before proceeding with the concepts of paging and other diagrams as well. So address generated by the CPU will be logical address, because for example, what do you mean by that is, if I am executing a process, if I am executing a program, there are 100 lines in the program. There are 100 lines in the program. I have divided that program, I have divided that process into various pages. Say, for example, each page is of 20 lines, 20 lines, 20 lines. So 20, 20, 20, totally 5 pages will be there in that program. Now, if I am executing line number 51, if I am executing line number 51, totally how many pages were there? 5 pages. Now, if I am executing line number 51, line number 51 is in which page? First 20 pages, sorry, first 20 lines in first page, next 20 lines in second page. Now 51st page will be in third page, 51st line will be in third page. Third page, which, how many, third page, line number starting from 1, because each and every page starts from line number 1. Of course, for the total program or the entire program, the line number may be 51, but according to that particular page, what is the line number? For each and every page will be starting the count from 1, 2, 3. Okay, hence, see here, the line number of that 51 page is page number 3, line number 11. Do you agree? Page number 3, line number 11. For example, if I want to execute line number 85, line number 85, what is the page number? Page number is 5. What is the line number? Line number is 5. Line number is 5. Like that. So you can visualize this. The process will be divided into various pages, and in pages will be having various lines. Okay, for example, if I want to access some particular line in page P2, I must have to provide 2 addresses. One is page number, first page or second page or third page, like that. Then in that particular page, within that particular page, how many lines we must have to move ahead? What is the offset? Offset means distance from beginning of that page. Distance from beginning of that page. So, okay, for example, 20 kb, 20 kb I have divided here is, if I want to go to page 2, I have to jump for directly 20 kb. If it is from 1 to 20, 20 to 40, I must have to start from 20. From line number 20 or from 20 kb, how many bytes I must have to move still to reach my target, to reach my target. This is called as offset. This is called as offset. It may be the starting instruction, or it may be the instruction at the end, or it can be maybe somewhere at the middle, but I must have to specify what is the offset from the beginning of that particular page. This is called as offset. So the page number or the logical address includes 2 parts. One is which page. One is after reaching that page, how many lines I must have to move ahead, how many instructions I must have to move ahead, right? So this is called as page offset. Page offset D. Okay, so page number, it is used as index to the page table. Next is page offset combined with base address. Base address means starting address of that particular page, to define the physical memory address that is sent into the memory unit. That we have already discussed the memory management unit in the previous class. So we can link to this, how the page base address can be added to the offset to provide the total or the final address, memory address of that particular process. Okay, so page number and page offset combinedly forms the logical address that is generated by the CPU. Okay, next, This is the actual diagram, very important diagram as per the given in the textbook to understand the paging along with the hardware. Paging hardware. See, this is the physical memory. This is the diagram provided in the textbook. This is the physical memory, means nothing but main memory. Physical memory and the main memory. So what is this F? F stands for frames. F stands for frames. Frame 1, frame 2, frame 3. So the size of the frame will be equal to the size of pages. Okay, the size of each frame will be same as the size of each pages. Okay, so the secondary memory has not been shown here. Okay, just the physical memory has been depicted here. So as I told, CPU generates what? Logical address. CPU generates logical address. Logical address, as discussed, it includes two parts. One is, what is this? P stands for page number. What is this? D stands for page offset. After reaching that page, how many lines to move ahead? Okay, so if the CPU generates logical address, so this page is in which frame? This page, because if the page, if there are 5 pages of a particular process, any page can be accommodated in any frame. So I will be having an index. What is this? This is just like a index. This is a page table. This page table includes the details such as which page is in which frame. First page is in frame number 0. Second page can be in frame number 25. Third page can be in frame number 3. Fourth page is not yet loaded, like that. So if there is, it is already loaded, where it is. If it is already not loaded, it is also will be indicated in the page table. So it will be contains all the details. Which page is in which frame? Which page is in which frame? Here we have discussed, right? So various pages will be in various frames. So which frame? Frame number 1 contains page 2 of the process. For example, if I want to access page 3, if I want to access page 3, which frame I must have to refer? I must have to go for last frame. So how can I get it? I can get it through by referring the page table. It all the, for example, there is one page table for one process. There is one page table for one process in which I will be getting which pages are in which frames, like that. So once I generate page table and offset, I must have to convert this page to frame. Page to frame. If for example, there are 3 frames here in this diagram: frame 1, frame 2, frame 3. Say, okay. For example, if the page that is required is in page 2, now, even though what, irrespective of the page, I must have to refer for the frame number. So the page will be translated into frame here. Page 10 is in frame 2, means I must have to go for frame 2, not frame 10, because page 1 will not be in frame 1, page 2 will not be directly in page 2, frame 2, like that, correct? So any page can be in any frame. So there will be a index here, which frame, which page will be located in which frame. So before directly accessing the physical memory, first I must have to get to know which page is in which frame. ಯಾವ page ಯಾವ frame ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, 10ನೇ page ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ frame ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So this P will be translated into F. Page number will be translated into frame number, and the offset will be retained as it is. Offset will be retained as it is. This is now the actual physical address. If I directly approach the physical memory with the logical address, this will be invalid, because it can be page 10, but page 10, if I refer frame 10, it will be having a different page of different process. It will not be accurate, correct? So first I must have to translate or convert this logical address with the help of the page table to physical address. But after obtaining the physical address, I can approach the physical memory for extracting the required instruction or data. So this is the concept of paging. By making use of a simple hardware, I can convert the logical address to physical address, page number to frame number, and I can access the memory easily. Okay, this is paging hardware. So we shall try to understand the concepts of paging with still more examples and visualization concepts in the next session. Okay, so thank you for watching this session. Stay tuned, and we'll be starting the next session soon, where we'll be understanding the concepts of paging in still more details. Thank you.